Okay, we got all of our unneeded stuff sold. The rest of the stuff is put in the safe in the hotel. And we took off our backpacks since we don't need them anymore. Now, we're on our way to find some ignition stuff. Okay. I think this is the direction. Close enough. Also, I got me a new weapon. Yeah, I really need to quit carrying so many weapons. That gun. I'm going to go ahead and give it a test fire. Yeah. Oh, I like this thing. It's sweet. That looks pretty badass. I'm taking it because it looks badass. Let's see how it looks on you.
Fine by me.
Where is it? Raider Badlands Armor. See how you look in that. Ooh, sweet. Let me take a look at its stats real quick.
Fine by me.
A DT of 4. This has a DT of 1. Yeah, that is better armor for you. But you're keeping the hat. I put too much work in that hat to let it go. With all these dead raiders laying around, go ahead and quick save. These aren't raiders. These are legionary. Well, that's worth a few bucks right there. Alright. I'll take everything he has. Okay, I'll take all that. I don't like the fact there are just dead bodies laying around here. Kind of has me a little bit worried, you know? So I go down this road? Yes, I do. I go down this road. Maybe that raider got into the fight with those two legionaries, and they all just killed each other. Oh, crap. I do like this weapon a lot. Oh, there's the igniting agent. And a radiation suit. Might as well. I don't need that. Well, let's read his journal.
Day 1, love the suit, can scavenge anywhere now, screw the rads. I hereby christen myself Mr. Radical. Get it? Day 4, suit passed first test with flying yellow colors. Overnight visit to Yucca Mountain. Didn't go too deep because something big moving around further down tunnel. Rad level high even where I was, and I didn't feel a tickle. Go rad suit, go. Day 5, vomited all morning. Didn't splash on suit or I'd be pissed. Must be something I ate. Day 9, exciting. Ran across old woman's scrap yard. Bought glowing container for measly 50 caps. Heading for Clarkfield to prove suit at higher rad levels. If it holds up, I'm going to pop this jar of goop open and pour it all over me. I bet I could swim in this stuff if I had enough of it. Oh yeah.
Okay, I don't think he was right in the head. Let's see, what do we got over here? Clark Field. when it's radioactive. Geckos. Well, that's handy and dandy. No, that's not what I wanted. Stem pack, that's what I wanted. Where are there more? Are there more? Okay, let's get some of that taken care of. We'll have ourselves a rad X and a rad away, and I'll put on my radiation suit and my radiation helmet. And I've leveled up. Alrighty. Now, what do I want to bump up? Lockpick to a perfect 75. And sneak is at 30. I'm going to go ahead and take the educated perk. Alright. I was thinking about taking the Lady Killer perk, but I really just don't see my character as being smooth with the ladies. That's just not who he is. Yeah, sure, why not? Oh, now I'm overburdened. Where? I'm overburdened. I can't help you. I'm carrying too much now. I can't put it down. Gonna have me some scotch, and I'll be fine.
Eat this.
Now, where is this taking place? Where is Boone? For example, where is Boone? Boone, wherever you're at. Boone? We're being irradiated pretty bad, dude. Okay, Boone, I'm getting out of here. You can either come or not. There you are. I need you to carry things for me.
Fine by me.
Yeah, carry that stuff for me. Okay, now what is our quest? Return to the rocket, okay. Alright. Where's that little hidden area I came out at? Gotta be around here somewhere. It's gotta be here, right? Yes, it is.
Have you found the components we discussed? Yes, that's the stuff. And the container's shielding must be intact or you'd be dead by now. Now all I need is the thrust control modules.
So, can you give me any tips for my current task?
Repcon has been ransacked so many times by scavengers, it's hard to know where the components might turn up. If they turn up. Jason has mentioned some industrial ruins to the east that are supposed to be highly radioactive.
Alright, I'll get going.
Bye.
Bye. I hate that guy. There's just something about him. I don't like that guy. I'm not too crazy about Jason. Why am I even doing this? I swear to God, I'm becoming a good person or something. Is that past Novak? I'll just beam myself to Novak and go straight up. Alright, looks like we just head on up the road. Up there's that doctor. Maybe she can heal me.
What can I do for you?
Well, I don't like trusting people who are covered in blood, but can you heal my radiation?
Are you sure? You won't be able to read in the dark as well.
Here's 100 caps. Just do it.
Okay. And remember, if this doesn't help, try taking a bath in tomato juice.
I'm not entirely sure she is a doctor. Hey, Nobark.
Careful. They got spies all over.
Who are you looking at? Is there like a hot woman showering in there or something? Hey, dude, want to play some Caravan?
You've seen them too, haven't you? I can see it in your eyes. I knew I wasn't the only one.
Sure. Old Nobark is always looking to play. Not for entertainment, mind you, but because if you look at the cards right, you can know the future.
Alrighty. Okay, I got all of his money. Now, let's go up to that scrapyard. Nothing. I bet Nobark got to the dumpsters before I did. I have to admit, we're having fine weather. Hi there.
Hi there. I'm Old Lady Gibson, or so they tell me. I've got odds and ends for sale, and I'm pretty good at fixing things, too. You might have noticed the very large building just north of here. That's Helios 1. The NCR runs the place, so it's off limits to prospectors.
You sound like a woman I know named Ruby, but let's not get into that. Do you have any thrust control modules from Repcon in stock? I mean, that's a very specifically odd request, but do you?
As it so happens, I do have some thrust modules, but they're expensive. 500 caps worth of expensive.
All right.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Subject E, diagnosis complete. Begin recording.
My
My name is Whitley. I'm a researcher at Adams Air Force Base. Until recently, I was in charge of the Duraframe reinforcement project for the combat model iBots.
Continue.
iBot Duraframe Subject E is both the prototype and the last functional model in this test group. I was prepared to make several significant upgrades to the machines. However, as the project was canceled and all Duraframe assets are being diverted to Hellfire armor, I'm sending this model to the Navarro outpost. If you're listening to this log from one of our Enclave outposts in Chicago, give this unit whatever repairs it needs so it can continue to Navarro.
That was very odd. Eddie, do you feel all right? Most importantly, is my beer fine? Is it safe? My beer? My beer's gone. Eddie, have you been drinking my beer? At least I got my sarsaparilla. Has he been drinking the beer? Never mind. All right. What do you have in stock?
So, you're back. Now, where did we leave off?
What do you have for sale?
Happy to do it.
Grenade rifle, long barrel. Okay.
Give me a shout if you... Take care now.
Is this going to work? Mercenaries grenade rifle. X for mod. Yes, it does. Awesome. With the long barrel. Oh my goodness. Yes. I want to test its range. I have to waste at least one explosive thing. I've got 23. I've got to see how long its range is. That wasn't very long. Oh well. I went from there to what? Right about where this rock is? That's not very long. I don't want to hit any buildings or anything. I'm going to waste one more round testing the limit to this thing. I should be able to hit that rock, but Eddie, I suggest you not stand in front of me. Okay. Let's just... Eddie? Eddie? I want to see how far this thing shoots. Of course, I'm going downhill. Alright, well, it hit that rock. It looks like it did. Oh, I think it was 1,000 caps worth, I think it might have been worth it. Oh, well. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Yeah, but, like, if I could just shoot people from, like, that distance right there, I mean, that'd be pretty worth it. Whereas before, I think it would crap out right around where that post was. Yeah, but if it could just shoot a little bit farther... Okay, alright, I'm getting distracted. I need to get back to the test site. Put away that gun. You.
Have you found the components we discussed?
Yes, Chris, I have.
Indeed you did. And they seem to be in excellent condition.
I just don't like this guy. The rockets are all set to go, right?
Yes. I'll tell Jason that the great journey can begin.
Hooray.
We have everything we need to launch the rockets, Jason. The great journey can begin.
Gather all. May the Creator guide my words and help me speak true. The Almighty Creator has seen fit to answer our prayers. The time has come for us to board the rockets and begin the great journey. Though it may seem that all humans despise us, The Creator has seen fit to instruct us differently. The journey ahead would have been impossible if not for the intercession of two human friends. One new, the other a long, abiding companion. To our new friend, we say thanks, and promise never to forget how we cleared from our path the demons who sought to stay our journey. But to Chris, we owe more than thanks. Chris, you have made this great journey a reality. From this moment forward, you will be remembered as the saint of the great journey. We shall never forget you. I ask that you forgive us, Chris, and give us your blessing. And we bestow ours upon you. Seekers, board the rockets. Take your seats. The great journey awaits. To the promised land we go. To the far beyond.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
Hey, hey, hey. I gotta see these rockets go. I just do.
Did you hear him? My God, you were right all along. I'm no ghoul. They were just using me.
They'd take you if they could, Chris, but you'd die.
And dying would be worse than this? Used up and thrown away like garbage?
Welcome to the aftermath of every man's marriage. Look, man, they're gonna revere you as a saint. Come on.
Oh, so I've redeemed the human race, is that it? What a crock. The human race can't stand me.
Oh, it's not that you're wrong. It's not that you're wrong. I just can't go that far. I can't say that. That's not true, Chris. You're all right.
So, you want me to accompany you on your adventures across the wasteland, is that it?
No! I mean, there's a little town called Novak down the road. If you go there, I'm sure they would welcome you as a friend.
Life among humans again? That's what you're suggesting? I guess it's the only chance I've got. Maybe it'll be different this time. I was never a saint before. I can't believe I'm agreeing to this, but I'll give it a try. You go launch the rockets. I'm on my way to Novak.
All right, you go. And where the hell do I go to launch the... Up in their frickin' control tower. Oh. Oh. Yeah, because you couldn't just, you know, wait 5 fucking minutes. Chris, you fucking... Oh. You couldn't wait just 5 minutes. You couldn't just walk up here, go to the control switch, flip the damn thing, send them on their way. Jesus Christ. You have to go to Novak now. Not like you could wait a minute. Oh, man. Hey, explosives. I bumped up my explosives, didn't I? I think. All right, all right. No! Never mind. Thought I could get me 4 free mines. I just gotta remember where this place is. I tell him, hey, you can go to Novak, dude. You can go to Novak. They'll accept you. He's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Go do my job for me because I can't wait just 5 minutes. Oh, where is this place? All right. Let's just go ahead and activate that. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, and someone else should be doing this, but they have to, you know, go to Novak in a real big hurry. Whoa. Okay. Who knows? Those crazy bastards might really make it. Okay, I'm liked in Novak. Why aren't I idolized? Whatever. Alright. See if there's anything around here worth looting. Doesn't appear to be. Okay. Door did not open the way I thought it would. Oh, all this stuff, I can't access it? It's all red? But, like, I would lose reputation with who? Novak or the people who are off in outer space, which I will never see again? Let me save this. I'm going to save this right here. Okay, in Novak, I'm liked. I'm going to steal all this stuff, and I'm going to find out if they still like me. Yeah, losing karma with who? That's the question. I'm just stealing everything. Including these stupid hats. Alright, that's a lot of stealing. I'm still like the Novak. Alright, that's cool. I'm going to go ahead and put on my backpack. See if there's anywhere else I can steal from. Let's go upstairs. Let's see what they got up there. Took all their party hats too, because fucking why not? Oh, first aid. I guess it doesn't matter, you know, how much negative karma. Those people are gone. And let's face it, they don't need this stuff. They don't need this stuff. Wait a minute, there's a thing down here called retirement. Did I read that before?
To Martin Niemeyer, Senior Engineer. From Steve Reynolds, Launch Facility Project Manager. Hello Martin. First, let me thank you for all of your years of dedicated service with me and the rest of our Repcon family. Without all of your hard work we would not have achieved a fraction of the success that we enjoy today. That being said, the face of Repcon is getting younger, and according to my records, you have been fully vested in your pension for a little more than 2 years. Given the recent incident, I think that this is an excellent time for you to retire gracefully. Your friend Steve.
Well, that was a hell of an adventure, wasn't it? We got to kill some invisible nightkin that was killing the Brahmin and Novek. It's funny how Nobark's description was more accurate than not. It almost makes you think he's not crazy. Nah, he's crazy. We got to meet a ghoul cult leader, kill off a bunch of nightkin that had taken over this old warehouse, helped a human to realize he was human, and maybe, just possibly, reintegrate him back into society. And we helped a bunch of ghoul cultists blast off towards the Promised Land. I have no idea if they're going to make it, but the way I look at it, that's a few less ghouls here on Earth. Yeah, I know, that's a bit of bigotry showing through, but come on. The good to bad ratio of ghouls speaks for itself. 9 out of 10 ghouls are feral. And the other 1 out of 10? Well, they're not feral yet. You know, it's hard to believe there was a time in our species' history where there were no nightkin, no super mutants, no ghouls, feral or otherwise. No rad roaches, no giant scorpions. Their water wasn't irradiated. But I suppose they had their problems too. They had tribalistic street gangs just like we do now. They had governments and mafias vying for power and control. They had oppressive governments. What's odd is these governments oppress people on behalf of the people. It's like you build a society, it flourishes, and what's the first thing everybody wants to do? Create rules. More and more rules restricting what you can and cannot do and say and think and believe and so on. It's like people crave freedom, and then they get it, and then they don't like it. They have a need to control everyone. It's like man isn't happy unless he's under the boot of an authority figure. It's man's need to control others that acts as the mechanism of his own oppression. It's like you don't like the word fuck because it's symbolic of or a metaphor for sex. And you don't want your kids hearing about sex because your own sexuality scares you. It's shameful. You want to keep your children innocent. So you put a law against saying fuck in a public space. That way your kids and the children of others are protected. But then because it was acceptable to put a rule against saying one word, people start putting rules against saying other words. You illegalize taking the Lord's name in vain. Then you illegalize using racial slurs or gender slurs, words that are typically associated with anger. Before you know it, half the words in the dictionary can get you fined or incarcerated if spoken. Jokes, which used to offer us escapism, are now offensive. Our words get controlled, and then next our thoughts. Thoughts, feelings, actions. It's all put under a microscope. And everyone around us wants to be a little tattletale, because they want to show righteousness and piety in the face of others. It's done as a defense mechanism, really. You see, the more you can call out others for their bad behavior, the more of a do-gooder you become in the eyes of those around you. You appear to be virtuous. The more of a virtuous do-gooder people think you are, the more slack you have to fuck up. Because everybody fucks up from time to time. But no matter how you slice it, it's all control, it's all oppression. I suppose the reason I'm going on this topic is because seeing Jason and his cult of believers reminded me of a cult I was briefly in. Yes, I was in a cult. Let me explain. I was born in Arizona, or at least I think that's where I was born. It's the first place of my earliest memory. My parents were hardworking, humble, religious. My father was a prospector, and by the age of 10, so was I. Me and my pop would find things we knew had high probability of containing valuables. Places like old houses, they seldom had anything of value. Think about it, if you're homeless, as many people are, and you see an old dilapidated house on your travels, what's the first thing you do? You take a look, you check it out, see if anyone else is living there. If not, you move in. What do you do once you move in there? You rummage through the place looking for anything that you could sell to a traveling merchant or a passerby. You use what you need and sell what you can sell. For food, for a fix, the desert doesn't judge. But when you come across a place like an old train station, that's a different story. From age, neglect, and the fallout, train stations tend to be in disarray. While trains can make for good houses, a lot of trains are actually tipped over, either due to the dropping of bombs, or over time, without maintenance, the ground shifts and turns, and those tracks cause the carts to tip over. But still, you find people living there sometimes. The best place, though, the subways. The reason they're not often used as houses is because they're difficult to get to. being that they're underground and a lot of the area has been caved in. And all the people that were on those trains, nothing left of them except for skeletons and briefcases. Briefcases and suitcases. Sometimes they're locked, but that leaves you with two options. Get some tools and break through it, which risks damaging whatever is inside, or learn to pick a lock. There's a lot of goodies in some of them briefcases. Mostly clothes, but clothes do have high value. At least they can. Now when it comes to them underground subways, that's tricky. Because they are underground, a lot of the time the tunnels have collapsed. So fitting through small cracks is about the only way you can get down into some of those man-made caverns. Unless you have some serious power tools and want to spend a week trying to clear out a path and getting things set up with a ladder and so on, unless you're going to spend about a week doing that, the only way to get down there is to try to find a crack you can slip through. Now you could try to get access from one of the station terminals, however you'll run into a collapse. And those areas do tend to be frequented, mostly by druggies and other people seeking shelter. And believe me, if they could get to those railroad carts, they would have done that. So if you happen to have an old map, and you know the layout of the subway lines, you can just walk along where those lines are. Eventually, you're going to find an area that's caved in, which has led to a crack you can sneak down into. A small boy like me and a little rope, I could climb down in there. Once I was down in there, I would spend hours, sometimes days, hunting around in the dark with a torch, scouting for goodies, picking locks, moving rubble, breaking through the window of the subway carts. Then pile up all the goodies next to where the above entrance is. Then holler for my father, and he'd secure the rope, and he'd pull it and hoist me up, and I would deliver whatever I could carry in my backpack. And then I'd go back down, grab some more stuff, come back up again, rinse and repeat. I guess it was like lowering a bucket into a well time and time again to get water. No, actually, that's a really bad way of looking at it. Never mind. Anyhow, we take all the goodies, put it in backpacks, bury the rest, and take it all home. Come back for the buried stuff, rinse and repeat. Then my mother would rent a cart and Brahmin, load it up, ride to town, go to the market, and spend all day selling what me and my dad collected. And that would often keep us going for the week. Eventually, prospecting killed my father. Well, not so much the prospecting, but a gang of junkies. We were in one of our underground subways. We ran into some guys. They were aggressive and territorial. My father tried to reason with them, but one of them attacked him. My father pulled out a knife. The other guy pulled out a gun, shot him down. I ran, and I was able to escape. I ran from the train station, but I didn't want to go home, not without my dad. So I hid, with the train station still in sight, and I sat there hiding, staring at the train station, waiting to see my father come out of there. After a day, he didn't come out, and I had to accept that he was dead. I couldn't go back. They would have just killed me too. I ran home and told my mother. She was broken at first, but she healed fast. She was a strong woman. However, we ran out of money pretty quick. I decided I'd teach her how to be a prospector. I learned well from my father. Me and him had a routine, and I taught it to her. Underground subways wasn't the only place you could make money. So we did some prospecting, and we did all right for about a year. And then, wouldn't you know it, prospecting killed her too. We were on our way to an old water treatment plant. Lots of fuses, bulbs, switches, and tools in a place like that. We came across a really big house on our way there. My mother wanted to search it. I told her it wasn't a good idea, because the roof had a huge hole in it, which means the floor had been soaked with water so many thousands of times, that the floor would be weak with rot. And the basement beneath that, everything in there would be wet and molded over, metals rusted and corroded. There was no use going inside of a house like that. But she wanted to look. She said it was such a big house, and it looked so undisturbed. So she went in, and she seen a beautiful dress and a clothing cabinet that had been safe from the rain. She wanted it. As she walked towards it, sure enough, the floor broke, and she fell into the basement. I ran into the basement after her, abandoning my own safety. When I got to her, she was dead. The fall was only 7 feet, but she busted her head open. At least her death was instant. I'm sure the knock to the noggin knocked her out instantly. So without parents, the only place I had to turn to was the church my parents would attend. Luckily, they had a church program. They rescued orphan children and gave them schooling and all of the basics, including a hierarchy of authority figures who would protect and discipline them. Yeah, you can see where the cult part might begin. The church sent me to a different church in New California. I was excited to leave Arizona behind. I felt like Arizona was a cursed place. Little did I know, every place was a cursed place. This new church called the Church of Sacrifice and Mercy. It was all right in the beginning. I made some friends, and we shared our tragedies. It was, in some strange way, therapeutic to be around others who had lost their parents. To hear all the different ways you can become an orphan. It makes you feel like you're not unique, you're not alone. Your pain isn't unique pain, it's normal human pain. Everyone else survives through it, and so can you. I think the first few months was really positive. I think it was a very positive experience. However, something that had always bothered me was they interpreted the Bible a little differently than the old church I used to attend. I tried to discreetly point out a few times where they had been mistaken. They weren't happy about this, and reminded me that I was young, and that the interpretation wasn't the same in every church. Some churches had a better interpretation than others. And the Church of Sacrifice and Mercy, well, wouldn't you know it, they had the most accurate interpretation of them all. And I let it go, because I was a dumb kid. What the hell did I know? I noticed that there were two groups of orphans, the very young and the nearly adult. I would say ages 12 and under for one group, and then ages 12 even to 20. There were actually a few adults there. Looks like we got trouble. Did I miss? I think I missed. Okay, I clearly can't shoot. That's right, you're dead. Wait, what was that? Roving Trader hat. Raises my barter by 5. I can work with that. Now, as I was saying, now those who were like 12 and older, it was strange. There were two kinds of them, the gleeful and enthusiastic, and the miserable and afraid. Turns out, for those 12 and up, it was hard manual labor, extremely strict rules, whippings and other creative tortures for the slightest transgressions, and then, at last, sexual abuse. The church controlled every aspect of your life. They told you when you can sleep, and how long you could sleep, when and what you can eat, and how much work you had to do. They preached a very strong message of making sacrifices in order to be granted God's mercy. Sacrifice and mercy, get it? You got a sacrifice of yourself for God to give you mercy. Here's what the church wanted you to sacrifice: your sense of self, your personal identity, every waking moment, your labor, your pride, your personal values, and even your reproductive organs, if you get what I mean by that. The gleeful, well, they were the true believers. The miserable and the afraid are those who seen through the lies, but had no recourse. There was no one to tell. When the abuse is coming from the top of the hierarchy, Telling people at the bottom of the hierarchical chain, well, that was pointless. What could they do? Nothing. This wasn't a democracy. Luckily, none of the priests there ever got a chance to diddle me, because I packed my stuff up and got out of New California. I started heading east, because why the hell not? You can't head no farther west. So I headed east. I didn't know where I'd stop. I thought maybe Maryland, maybe D.C., maybe Florida. I heard some good tales about New Miami. Basically, I just wanted to get as far away from that church as possible. I didn't make it any farther than Nevada. Where is he? Let's see what this guy's got on him. Barely worth the cost of the bullets I used to shoot him with. Anyhow, it's getting late. And I've talked your ears off long enough. I'll continue this story some other time. Let's look for a place where we can lay low, roll out our sleeping bag, and call it a night.